Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Talking About the Big Stuff. Tonight, we are going to be talking. It's as of live recording. It is April 20th. That is 420 for anybody not paying attention. 420 in America. It's 24 in the rest of the world. Which is, less marijuana significant. But we're going to talk about, I just thought like it would be a good episode to talk about marijuana or cannabis as because I've been informed that marijuana, it was the name that it was given to make it sound foreign and scary. And like the like the racist way of doing it, which
that's the slave name.
Yeah. I mean, like it kind of makes sense because when we think about like when it kind of it came about that it was starting to get a little bit shit talked right in the mid 30s, right after alcohol was legalized, and I'm sure you had alcohol and cigarettes lobbying together to get rid of the common enemy. So yeah, the comments are going to be. I might have to shut off the comments and have you monitor them because
it's going to be distracting today.
Yeah, because no, I am actually not high, so that's just I'm just distractible. So yeah. Matthew has no experience in marijuana.
No firsthand experience. I hung out with a lot of stoners.
Yeah.
And in high school, my role in my friend group was, let's go over to Matthew's and get stoned so he'll make us pee our pants laughing. It's like I was asked to be around when people were getting stoned so I can make them laugh. I also had a buddy whose parents would leave beer in the house if they went away for the weekend, on the thought that if the beer was all gone, then he was getting drunk, not getting stoned, and that was better. So he'd invite me over to drink his beer. Because we were Jewish, you couldn't waste it and pour it down in the sink or anything.
Yeah.
But he'd invite me over to drink the beer so that it wouldn't look suspicious when he was getting stoned.
Right. Speaking of you being Jewish, should you also mention the other thing that I guess it was my idea.
Of course, it's always your idea to talk about your idols.
Not my idol, but today's also Hitler's birthday, so that's an interesting thing worth talking about. So actually,
Mike wants to start doing birthday shout outs, and this is the one he chose to start with.
Well, it's my cousin's birthday, and
yep, you heard it right here. Third cousin Adolf Hitler, Michael Cole's third cousin.
No, my cousin Katie. It's her birthday, and when she was little,
she also went by Katie.
I used to tease her that she had Hitler's birthday, and it's also my sister-in-law's birthday. My sister-in-law,
she kind of is Hitler.
That is not true. And she has nothing but nice things to say about you from the one time she met you. So, but anyway, we're back to marijuana, which is the real reason for the season.
Weed, reefer, ganja.
Yeah, the chronic. Although I will say, so I have now learned that the chronic, the reason they call it chronic is because of hydroponics, and they were high when someone was explaining that it was hydroponically grown weed, and they were like, the chronic, it's chronic. But when I was in college,
like Trump named it.
Yeah, well, I think it was like Snoop and a few people that were just like really, really high. It was. I'm pretty sure I've heard Snoop take credit for it, being really high and not being able to, not really hearing correctly what it was. Also because it's my sister-in-law's birthday, this shirt was given to me by her for Christmas. I did think of that when I put it on today. But yeah, so when I was in college, somebody told me, and I know that you think that I'm like a big time stoner, but ultimately I'm like I am not. I'm pretty new to the game, But when I was in college, having had zero experience with firsthand experience and little to no secondhand experience that I was aware of with marijuana, someone told me that chronic was when you sprinkled cocaine into your joint and then smoked it. And I was like, oh, cool. All right.
Sure.
And now I've learned that is not what that is, and I don't know if there is a name for what that is. If there is, tell us in the comments below, because we're fairly naive when it comes to.
And we're not going to Google it. What
Well,
do I call it when I put cocaine?
Yeah, exactly.
How do I order a cocaine infused joint from my guy?
Well, yeah. So we have four whole viewers right now, which between you and Alex, it means we have 2 whole viewers right now. In addition to you guys,
we have Sheriff Ping 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 Ricochet Rita.
Yeah. If anybody does know, by the way, what you call that, please. I'm that's interesting stuff. And I realized that last week you said I can't share links because I'm not a moderator. So now you're a moderator.
Whoa!
In case we need to share links. Oh fuck! Can I undo it?
That means I can bump Lord Bacon out of the chat.
I can remove. Yeah, no, you guys are at the same level of moderation.
I still kick him out.
So anyway, Alex and I, we've been trying, in addition to obviously getting these podcasts off the ground, Alex and I have been trying to get some work going because we're not retired, unlike Matthew, and we need incomes. And so we've been trying to make videos for local businesses and get stuff like that going. And the very first thing that Alex literally got off the boat from that cruise, was it the cruise or was from Florida, and he was like, let's go to this opening day at a dispensary, which was Carol Indica in Raleigh. I don't know where that location is. Creedmoor, I think. And we filmed that, and we learned a lot about the Farm Bill, which is why
I was going to say, are they doing okay? Because I thought the new things in the Farm Bill were going to patch up some of the unintentional things that let the industry flourish.
Yeah, so that was the woman that we talked to, who was the marketing head for Carol Indica, which has 4 or 5 locations. She's very passionate about the Farm Bill and trying to keep it, allowing for the pieces that it does. But I don't know what they're going to close or not. I can't. So to me, it would make sense that you would allow something like everybody always says whenever I've told people, my father-in-law and other people that live here, oh, we went and filmed at a dispensary, and they're like, I didn't know it was legal in North Carolina. And it's like, well, it's legal because
not everything's legal
because of this weird loophole in how you get the THC and all these other pieces. And
I'm picturing Pulp Fiction. It's legal, but it's not 100% legal. You got to keep it in certain places.
Yeah. But you're picturing Pulp Fiction for that reason. I'm picturing it because I listened to a speech from Pete Henson.
I'm a big Henson fan.
Yeah. But so it's legal, but to me, it always makes sense that if you have a loophole on something like marijuana, which is legal in several states, including one of our border states, if you have the loophole that basically allows you to compete business-wise on that without having to get the majority to pass, an actual legalization bill or go through a ballot measure.
Just leave it the way it is, and then they don't have to take the blame for voting for it in the constituency. But the government takes the taxes.
We get all the benefits, and nobody gets the blame. As opposed to if you were I don't, you don't have to. If you're a Republican state senator or state congressperson, you don't have to. You don't have to advocate for it. You just have to leave it the fuck alone and no one's going to
And
blame
blame the
you.
other side, and
Yeah.
both.
Well, there's a loophole, and and it is actually, we're not going to budget it, but like we are making a lot of money off of it, so we're gonna add it to our
Fortunately, I'm
non-existent
not on the
budget.
committee that can do anything about it, and they refuse to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on the committee, but the majority of the committee is not on my side, so they refuse to. And that's all you have to say. You can just lie your little butt off and give yourself cover.
Yeah,
what they do.
Because it is, the way, she explained it to me about like there's limitations on the amount of THC that you can have per whatever. You can still get crazy fucking high off of what they've got.
They didn't know they didn't know they legislate science and medicine things that they have no idea about, so they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
It's like, here's the limit. Haha. Well, that much would kill someone, so fine if that's the limit.
Yeah. And like, and not to mention that, it's kind of like saying like, you can't do 100%, alcohol by volume, but you can do 75% alcohol by volume or whatever is the legal limit. And it's like, okay, then I'm just going to drink a little more, like, and when you're talking about like baking it into stuff, you're not like, you're just making it a little more potent in the with gummy or whatever.
Like Everclear though, and you got that well, you've made alcohol drinks in your house, like you made a delightful limoncello that I had. So the more you keep the percentage down, the harder it is to make liqueurs and stuff. And that's one of the things you're trying to control. I want to sell the liqueur out of the state-run store. I don't want you to be able to make it yourself.
Right. But my point being, like,
they don't realize
side
plus
of
2
it
is 4. Mm-hmm. Saying no to 4, but okay to 2 twos doesn't help you.
Exactly. And so, there's that side of this NC Farm Bill, which I personally, I did see a clip of our governor, Josh Stein. Why am I spacing on? Is his first name Josh?
Stein?
Yeah, but his first name is Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a Jewish name, you can't remember it? Josh Stein?
It just sounded wrong when it came out.
Is that how you that's how you celebrate Hitler's birthday. You say that a Jewish name as governor is wrong. It just sounds wrong to have a Jewish governor.
No. So anyway, so Josh Stein, I saw an interview with him with the Hometown Holler. Do you follow them? I feel like you would.
I don't. I mean, I think on TikTok I do. It's like I don't follow their main
right. I don't listen to the podcast, but I see clips on Instagram.
Yeah, their socials.
Yeah. And I like that. I like them. They were talking about marijuana and the Farm Bill and like that. And he sounds like he's a little bit negative on it. His points as to the problems with it are correct, which is like, it's very easy to give a breathalyzer for alcohol. Determining whether or not someone's high and should be driving or not is more difficult, probably more expensive.
No, it's not. You just have to know what to ask. Okay. Say, listen, I pulled you over because I'm giving away free Twinkies. You are? Yeah, get in the back.
To be fair, gotcha. You could get me with that without.
No, if you weren't stoned, you'd be like, yeah, right, pig. You only have donuts in your car. Fine, go ahead.
Anyway, I mean, like, there are some legitimate concerns, as there is with the legalization of anything, right? Like, you need to, but I got the feeling
I am a worse threat on the road when I'm overly tired. Like that,
absolutely.
Like having one drink too many is not as bad for me as I haven't slept in 3 days. Yeah, I remember the time the cop pulled you over and you were like, was I speeding? And Mr. Cole, you were going 15 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah. But you're right about it being tired is like there's been times when actually in this move, I mean, I'm not doing a lot of driving, but I was driving back and forth between the Airbnb and this house, which, is like within walking distance essentially. But I've been that like delirious, lightheaded, tired of, I've just moved a bunch of random shit and I've been going for hours. And there was a couple times where I was like driving and I was like, oh, I need to stop because I can't drive the block and a half that it is to the other house because I'm so tired right now. Like, and I'm like wired, not wired, but like, punchy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I am opposed to driving driving drunk, driving high, but I also do think you're right about there are things that are more distracting, more inhibiting than those things. Like being tired, or as much so at least. Being tired is one of them. I remember, so I got my driver's license and my. I'm looking at the. I shouldn't have done it. I'm looking at the chat.
Don't do it. Break free. Don't do it.
10
Don't look at the
milligrams
chat.
does to my husband, who I've converted to my degenerate ways. I bet Michael's drinks have nothing on Matavi's martinis. I can't find my feet when I'm high. Oh my God. So one thing that's really, you've never been high, Matthew. One thing, the first time that I got really high, this was
Are you with Afro Man?
13 years ago. No, like, it was Sarah's sister. She was like, let's go outside and smoke. And then I didn't realize that she, I wasn't thinking of, I was thinking about it like the way you think about having a beer or whatever. So the next time she went out and smoked that same like night, I went out and smoked with her. And apparently I have like super lungs, so I will like hit a whole bowl in one, intake. Where she was like that
about your lungs.
Yeah. So I went out and like 3 or 4 times smoked with her, not realizing that I wasn't supposed to do that. Like that I was supposed to just, that she's like a super smoker and that I shouldn't have done that. And I got so high. And one of the things when you get really high is that, how like in a movie, you go from one scene to the next and you don't see how they drove to that scene or anything.
Or when you're out and you get teleported to a Waffle House.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to it.
Teleported to a Waffle House. Okay.
I don't know how you don't know this, but okay.
I'm thinking Bill and Ted, but I know that's not right.
No. It's one of the directors of FEMA swears he got teleported to a Waffle House because that's who we have running our country now.
Oh, I did see something about that. Okay. I thought it was a movie reference.
Nope.
No. Even worse.
Our
it's the
real
stupidest
fucking
thing.
Our real life.
So anyway, yeah, it's kind of like when you're jumping scenes and you're not showing like the transition between scenes. So at one point I'm peeing. I'm literally like peeing and I'm like, I don't remember walking into this bathroom, unzipping my pants. I don't remember any of the things, but I'm peeing. And that's how I feel when I get when I used to get really, really high, is that you're just like, how did I get to this moment right now? Like, I don't remember did I close the door? Oh, I did close the door to the bathroom. Did I lock it?
I've done that while sober though. Like driving, like when you're driving a long
Sure.
distance and you're like, I just went across Raleigh. I don't remember stopping for lights. I'm sure I must have, but I don't remember.
Okay. That is absolutely true. But you also like, it's that every single step of the way.
Yeah. That for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's just some episode of Game of Thrones that I missed, that I watched, but I don't remember from that night. But I don't remember what I was talking about before that. I'm obviously, I think it comes across, but I'm pro legalization. I think that I personally like it better than drinking. The only reason that I don't partake really is that like I have made some stupid mistakes with it where I've
Had to bury bodies.
misread doses, and I'm a parent and I don't have that ability to make those mistakes. So
yeah, man, you're a parent with a kid who's young. We didn't get drunk maybe but like 2 or 3 times during the 20 years of the kids being young. We always had this paranoia, like one of us has to be, I mean, we didn't do drugs except for alcohol. Well, we always had this paranoia that one of us has to be sober at all times. We couldn't drink together because what if you have to go to the ER? It could happen any day. So one of us was always sober when the kids were young.
Sarah and I have only been intoxicated together in any way like twice, and they were both within that first year of dating. And then like, I mean, even though I have no alcohol tolerance, I sober up very quickly. Like I don't drink enough to maintain a buzz. So like one drink gets me buzzed, but then I'm sober again in
Then
30
you don't
minutes.
drink.
Yeah. So like at no point have we ever, like there's part of that, and there's also part of that like, well, I just need to be the one that stays sober if she's drinking. Within the first year of us dating, we were at a party, like a party in a club. We went to my sister's birthday, and Sarah's almost positive somebody roofied her while we were at that club. And luckily she was with 10 people she knew, including her boyfriend of over a year or whatever. And huh?
Why'd you roofie her? I missed why you did it.
Somebody else, which someone was playing the odds and was roofing lots of girls. But Sarah's convinced that she got roofied, and it was an intense night. And so we it was an intense night without any of the problems of having to deal with the person who roofied her, right? Like, obviously she didn't have that much to drink considering what how she was feeling and behaving. And so she's convinced, and I've never seen her get like that since, without a fuck ton of alcohol. So so since then we just haven't really ever been intoxicated together. And now Logan's at that stage where like, if one of us has even like a glass of wine at dinner, he's like, okay, well, mom had a glass of wine, so dad's not allowed because one of you has to drive. Like he's, at that stage.
Kid. Yeah. But yeah, in a case of emergency, you might have to.
Well, but also like if we go out to dinner, like,
Yeah.
And there's been a couple nights where he's like, you both had a drink, and we're like, we're also going to walk around for an hour afterwards.
My body mass versus the amount of alcohol I had versus one drink per hour digests to the point where there is no buzz.
Yeah, I tried to explain that, but I also I actually think I don't want to desensitize him to that either, because I don't want.
It's okay, Logan. Have a shot. You'll be fine in an hour.
Right. Well, there's that, and he's going to have lots of friends, and I do want him to be the voice of reason as long as I can allow that.
He's an informed voice of reason too, because if he ends up sounding like a naive idiot, they're gonna be like, "You don't know what you're talking about," and he'll be like, "What? My parents made me think that one drink would make me drunk," and they want you need the realism and honesty in there.
Yeah. So we try to balance it a little bit with like, don't worry, buddy. We're very careful, and I am extremely careful about it. Sarah has a higher tolerance than me, but Sarah doesn't drink if she has to drive.
I know we've gotten down the drinking path instead of the 420 path, but when I was when I was 17, the drinking age in New York was 18. My birthday's in November. Right before I turned 18, they upped it to 19. And almost all my friends were already drinking legally. And they got grandfathered in, so they didn't lose the right to drink. Yeah. By the time I turned 19, they made it 21. So I wasn't legal for 3 years. All my friends were. But in New York, it really didn't make a difference. Bars and bodegas did not check ID because nobody was drinking and driving. No one drove. We all walked home, to walk everywhere, or you take trains and buses. So IDs were never, I was going to strip clubs at 18. Nobody was checking my ID,
Yeah, there's lots of strip clubs in Massachusetts that are 18. Not that I know that, but
yeah. And they were they were bars, and so you're supposed to be 21, but nobody. I was on my fraternity at 18, and nobody gave a shit. They didn't check.
Yeah.
But one day when I was 18 or 19, I a buddy of mine, we had picked up Chinese food and went stopped by across the street the bodega and got a 6-pack of beer. Back to my house, and we're eating Chinese food at the kitchen table and drinking beer. And my parents came home from wherever they were, and my dad gave us a look and saw the beer and just shook his head and walked upstairs. And Howard was like, "Shit, when I'm gone, are you in trouble?" And I was like, "Oh, no. My dad knows that I drink beer occasionally. He just disappointed that I do because he doesn't drink. And he's not morally against it. He got drunk really bad in college, hated it, so I'm never drinking again. But he goes, I'm like my dad in every other way. So he was hoping I'd be the one who didn't drink. It didn't work out that way. So he just disappointed in being reminded that I do drink. It's one way that we're different.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an angry at me disappointed.
My dad, so my dad lived in Massachusetts until 2 months ago. And he was talking about how he supported the idea of legalization And now that it's legal, he thinks that it's gone too far. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, when I was a kid, if you got weed, it was, like it wasn't going to get you nearly as high as the stuff that they're apparently
Now that it's
selling.
legal, you can get powerful shit. And gummies didn't
Yeah,
exist.
right.
You know?
And he's like, I thought, people would be getting a little like basically ditch weed or whatever, like from, 30 years, 40 years ago. And he's like, that's what I thought they were going to be getting. I didn't realize it was going to be this like super strain stuff.
Like,
And
literally, he's like, there is a slippery slope that I didn't know existed,
Yeah.
and I don't like it.
Well, he also is. My dad's not a drinker, and really has never been a drinker, and he has on.
So he just celebrates Hitler's birthday on 420. He doesn't celebrate the.
He's half Jewish. He doesn't celebrate.
Which half celebrates?
The Jewish half, actually, because he doesn't like his Jewish side of his family. He just doesn't like his father.
Your whole family's
Jewish.
anti-Semitic. I know, even your dad. I know how it works.
Anyway,
so.
But I was going to say he actually has made on the I don't want to say the argument, but like he would not be opposed to alcohol being illegal again, because he doesn't think people should be drinking or smoking or edibles or anything else. Like he just thinks he doesn't like
it. Really tired and punchy. I don't think anybody should.
Well, it's not about driving for him. It's more...
I'm saying just in general. You get that weird. Twilight space before you go to sleep where you feel kind of stoned because you're so tired. Like, I don't think you should be allowed to do that.
Yeah. He does. I mean, he's pretty loose about it. Like my mom drinks occasionally. She's not like a drinker, but she'll have like a Mike's Hard, which also my mom is going to be 65 years old tomorrow.
To say. My mom has a hard lemonade.
My mom's going to be 65 years old tomorrow, and she is.
Happy birthday, Mom.
She is, she's a Mike's Hard Lemonade is like her drink of choice, and we all are like. I said hard.
I'm saying no, not the pronunciation, just the fact that that's her drink of choice.
But like, no, me and all my friends and Sarah and everybody else, we're all like,
she misses the old Bartles and James days.
We're all like, well, my mom didn't drink for most of my childhood because we came home at like 8 years old and we're like, they told us alcohol is bad. And she's like, I won't drink as long as you don't drink. So she didn't drink till we started.
Until you were 12, she didn't drink.
Yeah. But anyway, what was I getting? Okay. Mike's Hard Lemonade. So everybody, I don't know if you drink it, if you've had it recently, it is like heartburn. It like the second it touches your lips, you're like, oh. And my mom is just like, give me a 6-pack. And we're like, how?
Nothing makes you sicker than those fake. Yeah. And all these things are, like, all these seltzers and sodas are basically Zimas with different flavors added to it.
Yeah. I mean, Zima was kind of out of, I know that they reissued at one point, but Zima was no longer being produced when I turned 21. So I don't think I've ever had a Zima, but I am aware of that. That's, similar.
Like half the drinks are basically Zima with flavor. Yeah. It's a malt. It's a clear-ish malt
smearing off
drink.
ice.
That's not beer.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, did my mom ever drink when I was growing up? Let me remember. I remember maybe 1 a.m. one time, my dad and my mom were at a wedding, and my dad came and woke me up. He goes, "You want to get your mother undressed and into bed, or you want to clean out the car?" So my mother puked all over the car. She had, as she tells it, 3 drinks. 3 Black Russians, but what she didn't realize is they were making like triple, so it was like huge. So she had, like, just got this plastered.
So
that's cool. So let me start to get back to 420. Less weight, alcohol, more into drugs.
Yeah.
I took my mom to the dentist today.
Okay.
I took my mom to the dentist today, and we did she needs some more expensive procedures that insurance isn't exactly going to cover. So the insurance woman came in to talk to her about payment and blah blah blah. And somehow, my mother was signing paperwork, and she goes, "What's the date?" And the woman was like, "It's 420." And my mother goes, "Oh, it's 420, is it? Okay." And my mother's 85, so the woman looked at me like, "Your mother know what she's saying?" Like she's. And my mother goes, "Let me tell you about 420. She goes, I was at the original Earth Day in 1970. And, and my mom was a photographer back then, amateur, but really, semi-pro amateur, like amateur the way you're an amateur filmmaker, like really knew what she was doing, won awards, but, wasn't, making a living at it.
Okay, so she was
And-
better than I am at filmmaking.
Far. And but she had all the good equipment, the whole thing, And so she and my dad went to Earth Day mostly to take pictures and stuff and support the event, but document it. And at Union Square Park in New York City, Manhattan, they had this big dome that they had like filled with pure clean air, like really like distilled air kind of thing, supposedly, whatever. And so people could smell what air should be like. You're here in New York City, but this is what it should be. And so many people were in it getting stoned, smoking pot, that it just filled. It was like, it became a cloud. And people had brought like gas masks to protest the pollution, and then they were wearing it so they could breathe.
Yeah.
And so my mother's theory is that 420 being Earth Day, even though that year it wasn't 420, it was like 422. She like,
it's always 422.
Like people,
because my
like,
dad and Logan's birthday is
she's like, she thinks 420 is a reference to that day because everyone got so stoned.
Nice.
Because nobody knows the exact reason it's 420. Right? There's a bunch of different
it's
stories
urban
about why it
legends.
is.
Yeah.
So that's my mom's reason, because of how stoned everyone was at that one particular place, that one particular year.
Yeah.
Way before they started using the term 420.
Yeah. The thing that makes the most sense that I've heard is that it was like people would go smoke at 420 because they're going to get off at 5, and if you went out and smoked or whatever, you could probably finish up your work day, and in that last 40 minutes before you really got stoned from it. That's what I heard.
I mean, people say, "Oh, it's a call sign for people, for people with pot," and like, there's no municipality where that's the police call sign.
And I was going to say that one's a big one that goes around, and I'm like, but that's like easily verifiable.
It's been debunked for every place. Like, what place?
Yeah.
And people say that it was at the high school, like where the teachers are all gone by 4, so it was like at 4:20 we'll meet back at the schoolyard because that's the time it's safe to go back to school and hang out and get stoned because the teachers, the clubs are done, the teachers are gone. But a million different stories, but whoever made it up was too stoned to tell us. So
yeah,
but I like the fact that my mom has her own theory and shared it willingly with the people at the dentist's office.
Yeah. No, that's a good theory, and I like that theory. It makes more sense than the police police code, because at least it can't be verified that it's not the case. So,
what movie is it?
The Harder They Fall, because we are doing westerns this month, and
which westerns are you doing?
So we did
promote the show.
We did. We started off with High Noon, Gary Cooper, 1950.
Saw some social media stuff on that.
Yeah, that was a really good movie, which I had not seen. Alex hadn't seen.
And it's fitting for 420 because they were all high.
Yeah, at noon. And then after that, we saw Once Upon a Time in the West.
Man lost his mind in the West. Love less.
Yeah, I like that movie too. Wild Wild West. That'll be
Wild West.
Next time we do westerns.
I grew up watching that show. I mean, it was before my time, but it was on like in syndication, and it was one of my dad's favorite shows because he loved westerns and he loved science fiction. And it was basically a western science fiction. All the weapons and tech they had was like modern 1960s tech in the West. So it made it science fiction-y. So my dad used to watch the reruns with me all the time. He was always a big fan.
I was young enough that like I liked that movie when it came out. I didn't like see it as a super cheesy, like it was right after Men in Black. It was the same director. I
had a giant spider.
It had a giant spider that was supposed to be in Superman. But I actually liked it. I have not gone back and seen it, but I do have the song on my
it
iTunes
holds up
list.
as a good B movie. Like it was not a blockbuster, amazing Oscar-winning film. It was a fun little western, and it was like the TV show. The TV show was cheesy. That's what it was.
They probably dumped too much money into it, is my guess, because like I think if you had put in a reasonable budget, but you're probably like Will Smith can do no wrong at that point, because it was like right off the Independence Day, Bad Boys, Men in Black. Like it was a wild run, right? And they're like, and now we're going to take this 1970s show or 1980s show, whatever it was, and reboot it with
1960s show.
Was it 60s? Okay. We're going
Yeah,
to reboot it with, Mission Impossible had come out a couple years earlier. Like there's just so much going in its favor that I think they probably put too much money into it because of that confidence.
Right.
Whereas if you had,
Right. It was probably a failure economically because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And Kevin Kline and Will Smith salaries are probably more than it made.
Mhm. Yeah, but I remember I've tried to get Logan to watch it because I'm like I want to see if it's still good. Like if it holds
And
up.
my dad, it's like, there are things about things that may not have been important, but dad said it was. So in my head, it always was. And part of his thing was that Robert Conrad knew karate. And it was like the 1800s and he knew karate. So he was unique and kicked everyone's ass because he was so good at fighting. Because again, it was made in the 60s. So they knew what karate was then.
Right.
So they can port it back. And it was before the TV show Kung Fu came out, which was about someone doing Kung Fu in the Wild West. So
I've never seen Kung Fu. I do remember Kung Fu: The Legend Continues on TBS when I was a kid, but
I actually like that.
But I never watched it. I just saw ads for it because it was on like right before, right after.
Madhavi and I used to watch it because we both grew up watching the original Kung Fu.
Yeah,
and this is about David Carradine plays his own, like that Kung Fu's grandson in this, and it's about his son being the hero of the show, and he's the old martial artist who lives in. If you're in trouble, come to Chinatown, ask for Kane, and he will help you. Nice. The recurring theme. It's funny when I used to teach improv, especially like new improv, like new workshops, like first day, I would introduce my style by referencing the old Kung Fu TV show, because one of the things they talked about was Shaolin martial arts had many styles, and to master any one could take a lifetime. And then he'd pause and he'd say, I teach them all. And so that was my description of my improv. There's many schools of improv. It takes a lifetime to master them. I teach them all because I find value in all the different styles of improv. I wasn't a snob of how I did my improv.
Yeah. Jason says the holler is awesome. Hometown holler.
Hometown. Catch up, Jason. He's a half hour behind us.
Yeah. Okay. I think
want to talk more about your idol Hitler?
We can talk about Hitler if we stop calling him my idol. Although I will say, Sarah used to say that I
do appreciate you took down the posters before we started recording, though.
Thanks.
They're usually behind you in this room.
Well, they're not Hitler posters. They're
I mean, he's in a bathing suit, so I know it's photoshopped, but still, I mean, it's pretty clearly
Führer
Carr with the
fashion.
Hitler mustache. I mean, that's a Hitler poster.
Yeah. Jesus. So anyway, Sarah used to say that I was obsessed with Hitler.
Once again, we are canned credentialed. If anything is causing harm, we reported to Aaron Rabinowitz at the Creator Accountability Network and say they're talking about Hitler again.
Yeah, again. But she used to say that, and I would say, stop telling people. They're going to think that I'm pro Hitler. Because I was one of those people prior to the Trump era where society got a little overboard with the Hitler stuff. When it was okay to just like randomly call, not like, I know that the people used to call Obama Hitler, but I would compare and contrast a lot of people to Hitler and be like, well, that part, lesser, like the whatchamacallit, the guy InfoWars,
Alex
Jones. I would compare, people like that. I'd be like, well, they're the kind of people who would actually be able to, bolster someone like a Hitler back into power. But as we are now seeing,
and they did.
And so, like, I would talk about that kind of stuff, and one of the big things is that, like, never forget means you have to keep talking about and remember it to some extent. And Sarah,
but you don't have to do a party on Kristallnacht and invite your friends and break windows and stuff like that. I think you go a little far.
It's Kristallnacht, and we pop champagne. No, I really hope nobody logged on right then.
So we once had in the Idiots one rehearsal night. We had a reporter come and sit through our rehearsal because he was writing a piece originally about Ricochet Rita's dad, but then it just became about the idiots in general.
Yeah.
And he's watching our rehearsal, taking notes and whatever. And I'd run rehearsal like kind of like as a show, like I'm hosting, while I'm teaching. So I'd be like, okay, what's a reason to celebrate, or people who get together in a social setting? And one of the guys in my group goes, Kristallnacht. And I look at him and I look at the reporter who's like looking at me, and I look back at him and he goes, I don't know why I said it. So then it became a running gag for the next couple of years. I mean, the reporter made a reference to it in his piece. He goes, as crazy as their show gets, the suggestions they give themselves at rehearsal are even crazier. So we knew what he meant. He didn't out us.
Well,
but it became a running joke whenever we had a show that was on November 9th or 10th. John would say, oh, we're going to do a Kristallnacht joke tonight. Tonight's the night we do it. This is the year we do. And he'd say we should. He wanted to host a party at his house after the show. The theater we were at put on and Diary of Anne Frank. So he wanted the Nazi flag from after, so he can like have it for the party. Like it was his running joke. And his wife's like, I'm going to just divorce you with this joke. So one day it's November 9th. We're doing a show. We got a full house. And the suggestion is holiday party. And Romney goes out and she is pretending that she is like miming putting up a banner. John walks out and she goes, what do you think, Mr. Smith? And he looks up and goes, Happy Kristallnacht. It looks good. And this laughter in the audience. And I'm in the back going, I think they think he mispronounced Hanukkah. Like they don't know what they're laughing at,
Yeah.
And my assistant director, Wade, turns to me and goes, okay, Mr. Jewish director, how are you going to handle this? So I walk out and like with something in my hands. And I walk out. I said, Mr. Smith, the flyers for the party are ready. The showers are, the ovens are hot and the showers are dry.
Damn. So
in for a penny, in for a Deutschmark.
I will say, so what I'll say about that kind of humor and I've told Logan this a few times because Logan, like I'm trying to explain to Logan context, right? And context is really important. But I also tell him, like I say to him, my best friend Adam is black, and Adam and I make jokes with each other that I don't make with other people because, like, if I make a joke with Adam and I know that we have that context with each other. But if I make that joke with certain other people, it's a permission slip for them to get racist. So, like, the things that I say to Adam, I can't say to just any old white person because they'll be like, oh, he's one of us. And so it's a different thing. And I think joking about Nazis and stuff was way more appropriate 10 years ago when we were like, this is history, as opposed to this is currently happening.
It was super appropriate when I was a kid because the people who were making the jokes in the mainstream were like Mel Brooks and stuff who had served in World War II. It was Jews who were in World War II were making, the movie To Be or Not to Be. And of course the producers and Hogan's Heroes even before that, like making fun of Nazis was a thing that people who fought Nazis did. And then you have generation now who only grew up with the horror stories, and they're horror stories for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's not appropriate. And it's like, who are you to decide it's not appropriate? The people who fought the war did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like when I have people online get up mad, like up in my face mad when I say Jew. They're like, you don't say Jew, it's Jewish person. I said, fuck you, I'm a Jew.
Yeah.
like until 5 years ago, nobody would have ever said that's a thing. That like the joke was the other way around. It used to be, I'm not Jewish. Jewish is like, when do you want to meet? 8-ish, somewhere around. I'm not Jewish. That's okay. Maybe I am, but religious Jews aren't. They're actually Jews.
Yeah. I was watching Dan Levy, Eugene Levy's son, who did Schitt's Creek. He has a new show, and the guy who's playing his dad says something to him about they're talking about him being gay, and he goes, well, he's a gay too, and he goes, Dad, you can't say that, and he goes, you can't say gay. He goes, you can say gay, you can't say gay. He's like, gay is fine, gay is not fine.
My niece says that all the time about herself.
Who says
Like
that?
I sent my niece a picture of me at Pride,
Yeah.
because I was running a table at Pride, and she goes, "I love this, Uncle Matthew. I'm so happy you share this with me because I'm a gay." And she says, "I'm a gay" in
Yeah.
her things.
Well, she can say that.
I know she can
That's
say
the
what
other
she
thing
wants.
is like
She
it's
kick your ass. You say you can't. So
in group out group is like an important factor that again those same people that you can't make
yeah,
the
that's funny.
jokes with.
Working in HIV, I worked with a lot of people who were in what they always the term that everyone uses now that I worked with was just the community.
Yeah.
Like, people would say, yeah, well, up here, well, I'm part of the community. People use they, them for me a lot, but at work, everyone says he, him, and I don't want to fight it.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it's like the community. And it was just understood that's what community that they're talking about in this case. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I think that the reason why Jason saw that so late is that I think we're really delayed because I just saw your interruption happen just now, which was what
Oh, well,
that had to be
well, but
several minutes ago, right?
yeah, but I'm seeing us much more because like I saw myself doing the mime for my sketch like 15 seconds after I said it.
Oh,
I
okay.
saw the interruption 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
Maybe you need to drag the thing a little further across the screen.
I'm just on the like studio hub thing. Oh, yeah,
I said
actually.
in actual YouTube, we're a little behind, but
Oh, you're
just
right. You're right. That's weird
yeah.
that it's not keeping live for me.
Hmm.
Let me see. Thumbs up. And then
One,
722. We'll just do a test on that. But anyway.
I just saw myself pointing at the screen saying that it worked for me. So like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We don't have to do the card. Mine's over there somewhere.
When I said that, like I was thinking about you doing thumbs up, like, oh, it's like doing a clapboard. Oh, speaking of clapboard, I didn't do the color.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay, so
combine...
it just popped up that you do in the card. So yeah, 30 seconds fine.
There it is. I just see myself doing it now.
Cool.
I'm a little behind.
Do you think that Hitler got high? I think that's the perfect place for this episode to go.
I mean, I think I'm trying to think of a good pun about blowing his brains out of his head.
Oh my god! So
a drug pun about his brain splattering. He blew his mind. Yeah, he blew his mind.
Logan had a friend a few years ago tell him that like Hitler might still be alive. And whenever this comes, and Logan every once in a while goes, "Do you think Hitler's still alive?" And I'm like, "No, he'd be like 135 years old. He's not still alive."
Did 1889? He's older than my grandfather.
Yeah. Did he? Yeah, he was. His 100th birthday would have been the year after Sarah was born. So like, did he survive longer than we think he did? That I'd be open to being. I could be convinced of. And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "Because as far as I know, they never really found his body, or maybe they weren't able to confirm it was his body because I think they burned the bunker or whatever." I'm like, I don't know much about it, but
something like that.
But yeah, so and like he's constantly asking, or not constantly, but like regularly asking about like, well, maybe he talks about a lot of people that are maybe they're still alive, and the oldest person on Earth is probably 120, and I'm like, buddy, I don't think there's anybody like I think there's zero chance that Adolf Hitler is alive right this minute. I think that like he is I believe that he's been dead for 80 years or whatever, around at 80 years, but I could be convinced otherwise, that he lived into Argentina or whatever. But
yeah. So how much did you follow Eddie Izzard's comedy?
I've seen one or two specials.
So Mikey and I loved Eddie's old stuff, loved it.
Yeah.
And so Samantha, Ricochet Rita, was raised on it because Dad watched it, right?
Yeah.
So she was in high school. The teacher, they were doing a unit on World War II, and the teacher asked a question or something about how Hitler died or what happened to Hitler, or something to see what the students knew.
Mm-hmm.
And Samantha quoted Eddie Izzard, and it's like she popped her hand up instantly, and she went, "Hitler ended up in a ditch covered in petrol on fire, so that's fun." And that's funny because he was a mass murdering fuckhead. He just did the routine in class, and the teacher going, "What the hell?" Because most teachers didn't know the transvestite British comedian very well back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
A Samantha moment. Hope she's watching now.
Yeah. I am a big fan of, and I don't know what their preferred pronouns are because I think they've changed. They've progressed a bit in the last 10 years. So I'm going to say they because I think it's safer. But although Wikipedia is saying her, so I don't know.
Last time I checked the website, it used multiple pronouns across.
I feel like at one point, and this could be old news, but I saw an interview where she said that she didn't care, and that
that's what I was saying. Like
fluid.
I think the website at one point used every different pronoun just to point out that didn't care.
Right. So if we miss, we're not doing it on purpose.
In their personal life, they're not using Eddie anymore, but still using it professionally. It's still a professional name.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm a big fan. I also I think that what's the special that I saw? I can't remember, but there was
Dress to Kill was the one that introduced me to him, but there were other really good ones as well.
This one was fairly contemporary when I watched it, and I would have been in my mid to late 20s. So it's probably not Dress to Kill. It would have been, let's see, do we have specials on here? See the name of the specials. Filmography. We get specials under filmography or no? Theater. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We should probably start wrapping up. It's 7:27.
See a press release on Eddie's website, and it just says Eddie in every paragraph. There's no pronoun use. It says Eddie, Eddie's fans, Eddie shows.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just Eddie.
At the bottom of this, in the notes, it says Eddie Izzard identifies as gender fluid and prefers she/her pronouns, but doesn't mind he/him. The article uses she/her for consistency. And then there's 2 sources cited for that explanation of the pronouns.
I don't want to misgender Eddie because I think Eddie's brilliant. I'll just. The thing is, I've known people who don't like using when people use their name instead of a pronoun to avoid using their preferred pronoun. So I was like, people feel like, it's safe if I just say Eddie all the time. But sometimes people don't like that because you're kind of negating their identity by not addressing it.
Right.
So we'll switch to she. So I've loved her since first introduced to her comedy, and so quotable. Like Dress to Kill was the most quotable of them. It was every line was quotable.
I think that she's had a really interesting career too, because there's stand-ups that become actors, and then I would almost say that like the closest comparison is Robin Williams. Almost like there's that level of like the acting is so good, the comedy is so frenetic, and
what was the name of the Nosferatu movie that she did with Willem Dafoe?
Where I know what you're talking about. Willem Dafoe played the guy playing Nosferatu, right?
Right, Shadow of the Vampire.
Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah, it was about the making of Nosferatu, except in it, Nosferatu was playing himself. Count Orlok was playing himself and was a vampire and was killing crew members throughout.
Right.
And Eddie Izzard played the Jonathan Harker character.
Nice.
The actor playing the Jonathan Harker character. So,
and I don't think I knew who she was when I saw Mystery Men. Which I need to go back and rewatch because I liked that movie when it came out, but I don't remember.
I think about it every time I eat egg salad. There's a great egg salad scene. If you don't remember, there's
because of the fart.
William Macy has a great scene about like he makes this huge sloppy, gloppy egg salad sandwich when they've gotten their asses kicked.
Yeah,
and he's like, We're going to go out there and make a difference. This is egg salad full of cholesterol. My wife won't let me eat it. Now, are we going to sit here and hide, or am I going to eat this egg salad and we're going to go out there and fight? So like I'm going to die anyway. I might as well eat the egg salad. It's really cool. Makes me think of it every time I have the egg salad.
I need to rewatch that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start wrapping things up. I know that this is a bit rambly and incoherent, but that fits with the theme. Yeah. So if you had, okay, you start ahead. You start off with the closing spiel.
Yeah. So if you're Jason watching this live right now, the live one, not that important because we're taking this one down. You only get to watch the live one if you're a Patreon supporter at some level, but Michael talked in a minute. But if you're watching an edited down video on the YouTubes, go ahead and like the video. Even if you don't like it, like the video. If you would disagree with something we said, argue with us in the comments. If you agree with something we said, say it in the comments. Even if you have nothing to say, fake it and say something in the comments. YouTube likes that.
And we gave you multiple topics.
We did.
Gave you, there's the what it's called when you sprinkle cocaine into marijuana. Anything marijuana.
What do you call sprinkles for that matter?
Anything. Yeah,
I call them sprinkles. Some people call them jimmies. Some people call them little pieces of sugar poison to put on your ice cream because it's not sweet enough.
In Massachusetts, I think Massachusetts calls them jimmies a lot, but like we were at Friendly's one time and someone called them jimmies, and like the waitress at Friendly's was like, "No."
I think
because
there's
it's a racial thing,
places
apparently.
where only chocolate ones are called jimmies, and it's kind of racist.
Yeah.
But if you call everything jimmies, then obviously that wasn't the intent.
Yeah.
Look
Look at these pink jimmies. Whoa.
Whoa. And like the channel, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you know when we go live, because you want to be one of the people in the chat. You love watching Mike get distracted reading the chat. He could be distracted by you next time.
Yeah. Or I could be distracted by Matthew randomly calling me a Hitler worshiper or something. Because
it's not random. It's in response to all your Hitler memorabilia.
It's not memorabilia.
Okay. I don't know.
It's just a signed copy.
What's a polite way to say a Hitler branded butt plug? What's the polite term for that? I don't even know. I don't even know what to call it.
Oh my God! Okay.
Take your Hitler shit and shove it up your ass.
I can't remember what sorry, I need to tell this story because you're gonna love it. I can't remember what the name of what the thing was that we were talking about, but it was something where I'm like, well, just so you know, like that's fine in that context, but like don't use that word in other contexts because it means a different thing. And I forget what it was. And Logan goes, "That's not. Then you should just stop using it altogether." I'm like, "But that's what that thing is called." And like I said, I can't remember what it is. And he goes, "Yeah, but like after Hitler, did Indian people still use the swastika?" And I'm like, "Yes, they do.
All over my house.
They own it. Like that is theirs." And he was like, "Oh, I would have thought that they would have changed it." I'm like, "They're not going to change their religious symbology because some asshole, the asshole of all assholes." But I'm going to like downplay.
Hey, Trump had nothing to do with it, except being a fan.
Yeah, he has a signed original copy of Mein Kampf. Anyway,
he's read 2 books, and both of them are Mein Kampf.
No, he's read 4 books. Remember, we talked about this last week. He read Mein Kampf, and then The Art of the Deal.
Well,
then
the synopsis.
He loves The Dinner Party.
Yeah,
and then I can't remember what the 4th book was that we said in that. But
the Bible. It's clearly the Bible.
The Bible. You're right. The Bible.
The Trump Bible.
Mein Kampf was number 4. It was Bible.
Mein Kampf. Dinner Party.
Bible. Art of the Deal. Dinner Party. Mein Kampf. And if you want to be one of those people who's read The Dinner Party and not the other 3 books, you can read the Bible. That's up to you.
I mean, it's got more violence and sex than even The Dinner Party, frankly.
Yeah. But if you want to be one of the people who's read at least one of those 4 books, the one that you can buy guilt-free is The Dinner Party.
Not free. You got to pay for that shit.
Guilt-free, I said. Yeah,
I know. I'm just saying not free, just guilt-free.
Although I will say there's lots of guilt in the book, but you don't have to feel that guilt. And if you're watching this and you're in the Raleigh area, I will be at the 5 Points Festival tomorrow.
Tomorrow from right now, this live thing, like, so Jason
No.
could go. Is that what you're saying?
No, tomorrow after this episode goes up for
After
everybody.
it drops where?
Drops on patreon.com/talking about the big stuff.
Believe.
We have 4 options there. You can do the free version, which will give you all the updates, and it'll come out on time, but it'll let you know when we're going live and all that other crap. We have the $1 version, which gets you a couple of days early. We have the $3 version, which has all the extra stuff, like all the stuff that Matthew talked about with Hitler and his mom and getting high. All that stuff will be in there. And then there's the $10 version, which is where we talk about whatever we talked about before the show, which I am actually spacing on because that was over an hour ago. But that's every week that you get
lot,
all those.
We do like 4 episodes a month at $10 each. That's $40. That's a lot to pay.
No, but that's the cool thing is that it's not $10 each. It's $10 a month. So that's actually ends up being like $2.50 if you do the absolute maximum, but it's only 25 cents if you do the $1 option.
And imagine the few times a year that there are 5 Mondays in the month and we record 5 times.
And I'm not going to try to do the math on what 3 divided by 4 is. $1.25? Nope, I do that.
You just said you're not going to try to do the math. You fucking liar.
Anyway, 80 cents. I don't know. I'm bad at math. Anyway, so go on to patreon.com.
Making podcasts for a living.
Yeah. Patreon.com/talking about the big stuff is the best place for you to go to help support us. And also comment, tell us your favorite Hitler fact like Matthew wants to know. I can't guarantee that YouTube's moderator will allow that. But anyway, check it out. And if you're on Spotify is a great place to check us out too, because we need more Spotify hits to also get monetized there too. So, all right, Matthew, last thoughts.
My only thought is to say thank you for everyone who made it to the end, sticking with us to talk about the big stuff. Talking about the big stuff is a Chocolate Diamond Media joint.